Hi, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
Today we're going to talk about how to fall asleep in 2 minutes according to the U.S. military. Now, I've seen this also just according to the U.S. Navy, but I found information from the Army and the Navy of techniques they use.
Well, it's a pretty critical thing to have in the military.
Very
you need to
critical.
Get your rest.
It's the difference between life and death. I mean, if you don't get your rest and you go into battle, you know, and you're making bad decisions because you're tired. You know, it's not like us. If we make a bad decision, you know, somebody may not get better.
Right.
But with them, you know, it could be very serious. So we're going to go ahead and give you some of the hints that they recommend. But before we do that, if you are new to our channel, please take a second to subscribe to us. We provide videos how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day. Also, go over to the Facebook and like us because, yes, once again, for a bunch of weeks in a row here, we've been giving away stuff. It's Bob and Brad. Right now, we're giving away some TENS units. That's for pain control. These little electronic device, they work great.
Yeah. You can Google Bob and Brad TENS, and you'll see exactly what we're doing with them and how you can use them. And there's a number of people that already know about them.
Yeah, it's I Relieve. I Relieve is the TENS unit that we're using.
We really like them.
All right, so let's talk about this, Brad. Let's talk about first some of what the Army does. They found out 30% of sleep problems are due to light and noise. Mm-hmm. And this is, I found myself, like when I go on vacation, I'm at a hotel, I always wear earplugs because if any noise starts, weird noise comes up, I'm like, oh God, I'm not gonna be able to sleep because there's noise. But they actually found out that sleep masks work better.
You mean so the eye covers?
Yep. Sure. So they're blocking out the light. They just found out that people sleep better when they block out the light. Sure. So you may want to give that a try. It's an easy fix.
Yep.
So
right.
Then of course with the military, and I've seen this recommended many times if you have trouble sleeping, you got to go get up at the same time every morning.
Yeah, a pattern.
You got to get in a pattern.
Right.
Even on the weekends, you got to try to get, within, and I try to stay within a half hour of that. I'll sleep in a little bit on the weekends.
Right. Sometimes I want to sleep in, and I get up anyways because I'm
on the routine, and that's how it is too. My friends come over and stay with us, and we stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning. There I am getting up at 6 again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, it's a curse. All right, so the other thing is they obviously are big believers in exercise. They try to even get some exercise before breakfast. But, the idea is you exercise throughout the day, you're going to be wore out. You're going to be ready to sleep.
Sure.
So that's going to help matters too. They talk about a cold shower before bed. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to do that one. I mean, maybe some of you guys out there are tough and want to try that, but it really does help apparently.
Right. Yeah, I don't. I have not done it. I'm sure they've got some supporting evidence for it.
The other tip is, again, by the Army, is don't go to bed until you're tired. If you're not tired, don't go to bed. They want you to have kind of a Pavlovian response to your bed, like when you see your bed, I want to sleep.
Sure.
That you're really tired and you want to sleep. So wait till you are actually tired before you go to bed.
Right.
This one we've mentioned many times, breathing. A lot of times you can't get to sleep because you're tense. And quite often it's because people are doing shallow breathing and they're not taking the full breaths. So they mentioned the 4-4-4 method, but there's also the 4-7-8 method. But
what are you talking about?
4-4-4. For 4 seconds, you're going to breathe in. Usually we breathe in through the nose.
Through the nostrils,
yes. And diaphragmatic breathing is, we got into this all in a different video.
So let your muscles, abdominals relax. Let that stomach expand. Let that diaphragm do its thing.
Do its thing, yeah. And you're going to breathe in for 4 seconds. Then you're going to hold your breath for 4 seconds.
Yep.
And then you're going to breathe out for 4 seconds. And usually we breathe out through the mouth.
Right.
A lot of times in a pursed lip, even what you call like you're blowing out a balloon or blowing out a candle.
So you're
blowing up a balloon.
Offering some resistance with your lips.
Yeah.
I personally don't do that. I just relax and do it, but I know that is.
Oh, I do it. I do it a lot in my car.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A lot of times in the mornings if I'm feeling a little bit of stress, after talking with my spouse. Not that she gave me spouse.
Well,
okay. You can do 4-4-4, but you can also do 4-7-8. That's another, just the same thing. You bring it in for 4 seconds, you hold your breath for 7 seconds, and then you breathe out for 8 seconds.
Right.
And they said with all these, you can work up to like 3 cycles and then eventually work up to even 8 cycles of this. So
you should be asleep by then.
Yeah, hopefully you, hopefully you are. The other thing is they had, this is the Army, they had you ask yourself some mundane questions like, what did I have for lunch today? Or what did I talk about at the Christmas party? And this idea is that you're thinking about that and you're not thinking about going to sleep and then all of a sudden you fall asleep. You don't believe that one, do you, Brad?
I'm sure they have researched it well.
Yeah. All right. Then let's go to the Navy, Brad. Let's go to the
another.
Navy. One of the things with the Navy, why don't we show it with the Navy? You lay down, and I've seen this mentioned before too. Basically, you're going to try to relax the whole body. You're going to start from the head to the toe. You're going to start off trying to think of the forehead, trying to make it smooth. You can even relax the eyeballs. And a lot of times, if you have trouble relaxing the muscles, you tighten them up first. So, like, let's say, Brad, you're going to do your jaws. Can you tighten? Yep, he tightens up his jaws, and then he relaxes them. Okay? Then you can move down to the arms. You can tighten up the arms, and then relax them. Yep, you can tighten up the forearms, and then relax them. Yeah, squeeze the fists, and then relax them. All the while you're doing your breathing, you can tighten up the thighs and relax. Tighten up the calves and relax. So you work your way all the way down until you find no tension in any of the muscles, and that's what the Navy works at. So
there's some good audio.
Yeah.
Dennis Waitley used to have one of these, and I used to.
I remember Dennis Waitley. Yeah, I used to listen to him too.
It worked very well, and he would do the same thing. It'd start at the head, work your way down, and it would be complete relaxation.
Yeah, there's a good voice for it, probably. Mm-hmm. You know, very melodic voice would probably work with that. And then they tell you, again, this is the Navy. Imagine yourself, you're in a canoe, and you're on a serene lake with a blue sky. Doesn't that make you relax, Brad?
I love just a nice lake, calm. You can see the reflection out of the water. The stars come out at night.
The other one, before he rambles on too much, the other one is they said, picture yourself cozy and warm in a black velvet hammock in a pitch black room. So you can't really picture anything because everything's black. So, but I'm just passing this on. For me, what works? You know what works for me, Brad? I picture myself golfing. It's just I'm relaxed. I'm out on the course. I'm just, I'm not throwing my clubs like I usually do.
If it was me golfing, I'd see myself throwing my club around a tree.
All right. Then once you're in your canoe or once you're in your hammock, you're supposed to say, "Don't think, don't think, don't think" for 10 seconds.
Those words.
Yeah.
So you're trying to eliminate all the worries and things that clutter up and create tension.
So that's the techniques we did the Army, and that was the Navy, and hopefully by then you're sleeping. So you can get a good night's rest and you'll be ready for the next day. So,
I can relate to that, Bob, because my brother was in the Army. He was a Ranger, and they're pretty.
He was. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's back in the 70s. When he went to Ranger school, he went 2 days with intense training, 0 sleep.
Wow.
And that's what they wanted to push him,
Sure,
obviously.
right, exactly.
But, you can see when he talks about some of the things they train for. How do you sleep?
Right.
Out in the woods, you're
cold, rainy.
And you got some serious work to do.
Yeah.
But you still need some sleep. So, it's very clear why.
I watched a documentary on the Rangers. They are nuts. They are crazy. Yeah. Same with what is the one on sea?
Seals?
Seals,
Navy
seals.
Yeah.
I mean, they're nuts. They're wacky.
Now, my brother, at 4 years of that, and he's a registered nurse now.
Oh, is he really?
Right. Because of the training they learned how to repair your body when you get hurt out there. He was interested in that, and it's interesting how people's lives change throughout their.
Well, I'll just tell you real quickly. I had a friend of mine that was in the Navy, and he was like this super athlete that was on board, and he's like, I'm going to try out for the SEALs. So he goes, he tries out for the SEALs, comes back like 3 days later, he goes, they're nuts. And he goes, he was a great athlete, but there's more than that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of intelligence and brain.
So
all right, thanks everybody for watching.